Hello. Welcome to the second of my dream list of Smash editions, hopefully for the future. Today we're going to switch things up and talk about a third-party character instead of a Nintendo one. And, I just kind of realized it's kind of dark in here. Let me see what I can do about that. Hang on just a second. One moment here. Get this figured out. One sec. Alright, that's a little better. Still pretty dark in here. Not quite perfect dark. So, yes. Joanna Dark is a character that I've always thought would be a great Smash edition. And with the whole thing that happened between Rare, Nintendo, and Microsoft in the GameCube era, I really just wonder if Sakurai was working with Rare at all prior to that. If Melee's development was in any way affected by what was going on with Rare. Because I've always felt that Banjo-Kazooie and Joanna Dark and even Conker and his M-rated glory deserved Smash spots, because they were a big part of Nintendo's N64 legacy. And unfortunately, the sale to Microsoft just kind of made that go away. And with Ultimate, we finally got Banjo and Kazooie to join the action, and I feel that a future Smash game really should work on getting Joanna to join the Bear and Bird as Rare representatives, because in my opinion, they're those Rare characters, they're Nintendo characters. They've always been. And Microsoft has never really been able to figure out what to do with Rare properly. So I just always feel like they deserve to be in Melee. They deserve to be in the series all the way from that point on. And now I'm going to repair the damage by talking about Joanna Dark being in Smash. So I didn't want her to be a Solid Snake clone. That would have been very easy to do. She's got the tools to basically replicate everything about Snake. But I decided that she's going to go to different directions. She's a spy. But she's got a lot of potential to be a different type of character. And thanks to Joker and Bayonetta, guns aren't really an issue anymore for a moveset in Smash. So Joanna's going all in with her arsenal. There will be no hesitation on my part to use guns for Joanna, because that's who she is. So her gimmicks. Joanna can knock any carryable item from an opponent's hands with her A melee combo string, which is a feature she has as her secondary for her punch attack. She can cloak once per life with her down taunt, which lasts until she attacks or is hit. That gives her a slight covert advantage. However, the cloak effect has to be seen by the player controlling Joanna, so the opponents can see it as well. She'll basically use like the cloaking device in Melee to have that effect. She has a proclivity towards stunning opponents. This is a big part of her moveset, that she will be able to put people in stun and sleep states with quite a few of her moves, particularly her special moves. Fully charging her smash attacks grants an additional effect to the move. Nobody's really had that, to my knowledge, in Smash. And Joanna seems like a great character to introduce this with, and you'll see why when I talk about her smashes. And as I mentioned at the top, she's using practically 70 to 80% of the guns and gadgets in her game in her entire moveset. So she'll be firing off a lot of projectiles. Smashes. So, I wanted to do something different for her forward smash, because most forward smashes are direct attacks that hit pretty hard for like 20 to 40% damage depending on the character. Joanna is different in that she uses a tranquilizer gun for her forward smash. And how that works is it's a bit like Mega Man's forward smash, that is like the charge shot, but it works completely different in terms of damage and effect. So unlike Mega Man, if she just quickly does a smash attack A, smash attack A, a long range trank shot will fire from the gun that will briefly stun an opponent. And it won't put them to sleep, but it will put them in a stunned state for a couple seconds. Barely enough time for her to probably run forward if it's close enough to do another attack. But the longer you hold the charge for the smash, the shorter the range gets, but the longer the stun gets. If you fully charge it all the way to max, it becomes a throw range move, but it will put an opponent into a sleep state. We're not doing the lethal injection like you can in the game. That doesn't feel very Nintendo, but it does make sense to have an opponent just collapse into a sleep state, which will set up her other smash attacks, which are damage based, very nicely. Her up smash has a laser deploy out of her wrist gauntlet, and it goes into secondary fire mode in an upward arc over her head. So it's kind of like a lightsaber attack, because if you recall, the secondary fire of the laser is a short wave stream. If you fully charge that, she'll add a couple primary fire shots to the end, which will add about 10%, 12% damage on top of the damage of being risen upwards through that attack. Her down smash is the Phoenix, which is Elvis's culture's weapon of choice for pistols. And that shoots a secondary fire of an explosive shot, which is what she uses, outside of the range she would take damage. Because if you recall, in Perfect Dark, you can hurt yourself with Phoenix shots in secondary fire mode. So if you fully charge that, she'll pull out a second one, as she could in the game, and she'll fire both, which will effectively make that double the damage. So she's got some interesting properties with her special moves, in that 3 of them deploy something. The 4th also does something different on the ground versus the air. But I felt that the biggest thing about Joanna Dark that would really make her unique is her deploying ability. So she's got the laptop gun, the dragon, and the cam spy as 3 of her moves. And we'll start with the laptop gun because I think it's the most iconic move, iconic weapon that Joanna had in Perfect Dark. And this is her standard B attack. So if you press B, she'll pull out a laptop gun, but she'll throw it immediately. That's not the most effective thing to do with it. If you hold B after that initial press, you can then shoot shots with the A button while aiming with the left stick as she stands still. That's important to note. If the laptop gun's out, you cannot move with Joanna because she's going to aim. The aim has a dual purpose. You can shoot with the laptop gun, but that's not the best way to use it. The best way to use it is to deploy it into a turret, which you will then do by letting go of B. So what will happen is the gun will be in a transformation state while it's in the air. If it hits someone, it'll do minor damage, kind of like getting hit with a capsule that doesn't explode, and then will deploy when it hits the ground. If it doesn't hit the ground, it'll just fly off the stage, and you'll have to redo the move. But if it does hit a ground surface or a wall, it will deploy into turret mode. Then it'll fire for about 8 seconds straight if Joanna did not burn any of the ammunition herself in the process of deploying it. So you can also hit B one more time while it's in the air to turn it into a turret early. So it'll just start spinning in the air and then will stick. Joanna cannot destroy the laptop gun until it has run out of bullets. So she has to wait for that move to finish before she can deploy another one. And in that process, you have to press B once the gun's empty, which you'll hear it click and it won't be shooting bullets anymore, so you'll know it's done, to destroy it, which will give a very short range explosion. And then in that process, she will pull out a new laptop gun, do the reload animation, and then put it away, and you can use it again. since Joanna's deploying stuff, I needed to come up with ways to make it feel fair. And for me, the best way I could make it feel fair was to have it have a few limitations in its use. So I didn't feel like she could just throw a laptop gun, then throw another laptop gun, then throw another one, and just keep throwing them out constantly. I felt like there needed to be a reason for a delay in between them to make it fair so it's not overpowered. Her side B is a dragon, which is a rifle from the Datadyne company that has a proximity mine packaged in to its body that can be deployed once the gun is thrown in the original game. Works very similar here. Joanna will pull out the gun with a side B press, and you can just start firing it with A, but you can move around. You can't aim this gun. With a release of the B button, you'll throw it no matter how much ammo's left. It doesn't matter. So this one, it can help to fire off the rounds and then deploy it. Once the gun is deployed, it turns on the proximity mode, waiting for something to come near it. Doesn't matter if it's an opponent, an item, an assist trophy, a Pokemon, Joanna herself, stage hazard. Once something gets near it, it will then explode. Then Joanna can reload the gun once that explosion happens, which will leave her a little bit open, and then she can deploy it again at that point. For her B and side B moves while the laptop gun and the Dragon Bomb are on the field and in use, she can pull out a Falcon 2 handgun to have a temporary replacement for those two moves. It's not very powerful. It does have decent range, but it's an option that will help her not feel like she can't do something while those two moves are out on the field. Her up B is the crossbow. I wanted to give her something from her universe. I didn't want to invent something for her to have a third jump, and the crossbow works well in that regard. It's going to work a lot like Joker's grappling hook when shot in the air, be a tether recovery, but on the ground it does shoot a sleep dart in a diagonal range, so it's kind of like an anti-air, and it'll knock an opponent to a short sleep state if they are hit. So they will basically fall from the ground and fall into a sleep state if they are hit by a crossbow bolt fired from the ground. If a crossbow bolt in the air hits an opponent, it doesn't really help Joanna much, because it doesn't have the lethal mode, so it won't knock them out, but it will basically prevent her from tethering back. She can fire again, so hopefully the opponent in the recoil from getting struck from the crossbow bolt will get out of the way. But that is a concern for Joanna, having people in her way when she's trying to use the move. Her down B is the Cam Spy. The Cam Spy combines all of the features of the three types into one AI-controlled buddy. It's the best way I can think of phrasing it. So the Cam Spy, once deployed, will act on its own, and it'll wander around with two shots of sleep aid, we'll call it. And if an opponent's nearby, it'll home in on that opponent, and it'll try to put them into a sleep state. The Cam Spy acts on its own. It's small, it's hard to see, but if it is attacked by anything, it will fall to the ground, make a little noise, and then explode like a bomb spy. Joanna can also make the bomb spy activate by down B press. So it's a bit of a nasty little thing because it's hard to see. It's going to knock you to sleep or it's going to blow you up. Then Joanna can deploy a second Cam Spy once it's destroyed one way or another. If it uses its two sleep aids, it will basically then collapse and explode like it got attacked. Last but not least is her final smash, which is Perfect Dark. Clever, I know. So Gianna will throw a neutron bomb, and anyone who gets caught in its path will be caught in a cinematic, where Joanna will then throw two grenades in secondary mode to pinball into the neutron bomb field. Those will explode, sending the opponents out. And then she will pull out a Farsight, and using the really nifty aim mode of the Far Spy, as a camera will aim at the opponents and shoot them out of the arena. She can capture anyone caught in the field of the neutron bomb. So you can get up to 7 shots, really, if you really wanted to, which I think is the max amount of shots that the Farsight has by default. So, it's a really powerful move. The neutron bomb doesn't last very long, though, unlike the original game where it seems to last forever, to try to make it a little bit fair. Alright, well, that's Joanna Dark's moveset per me, sharing it with you. And let's go ahead and cover a couple more songs real quick while I show a little weapon montage of Perfect Dark so you can kind of see where some of my thoughts came from. And we will wrap up this episode. So for Perfect Dark, in case you were wondering why all of a sudden Battletoads is playing, I wanted to give a few other rare games some kudos. So there will be music outside of Perfect Dark added in from a couple other rare games, including Battletoads. That's perfect that the dragon and the laptop gun are right next to each other. Well, I want to give a quick thanks to the Enigma 92 for putting together the weapon compilation there. I also want to give thanks to Family Jewels, Michael Hudak, Crispy, Flying Knee, and Master Boot Record for creating some wonderful remixes of Perfect Dark and Battletoads that I used in this video. I will have little links in the description for finding out more about their music. And we will be back next month with another third-party character. So we'll do like one Nintendo, two third-party, one Nintendo, two third-party till it evens out. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on how Joanna Dark could join the chaos of Smash. See you soon. Take care.